Welcome to LSB Feasters Radio Channel and Travel Corner, where we keep great radio from the past alive. And today we're going to New York City and Super Soul 16 WWRL. Through the 60s, into the 1970s, even into the 1980s, New York's WWRL was the AM R&B leader with fast-paced, slick jingles, hip on-air personalities. This station sizzled, and some of the jocks who made it big at WWRL include Bobby J, who later went on to CBS FM in New York, Frankie Crocker, who went on to WBLS in New York, Don Early Allen, Jeffery Troy, who went on to WRKS 98.7 KISS in New York, Gary Bledsoe, who's been all over the place, Hank Spann, and the voice heard on this Aircheck, the one and only Gary Byrd. Gary is one of the longest running radio personalities in New York. Gary started his career back in the 1960s in Buffalo, and in 1969, he landed a job on WWRL, becoming one of the youngest radio personalities in New York. When he started RL, he was still a teenager, and he spent many years on WWRL hosting a show he called the Gary Byrd Experience, or the GBE. The GBE was an innovative all-night show, and it became extremely popular in New York. Eventually, Gary moved the GBE over to WLIB, where it evolved into an issues-oriented talk show. And as of 2020, Gary is still on the air in New York at WBLS, and he's also on the air hosting GBE 2.0 on WBAI in New York. Today, he's known as Imhotep Gary Byrd and recently celebrated 50 years on the radio in New York. That's quite an accomplishment. If you like what you hear, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel too if you like, and after you do, smack that bell. And you will be notified whenever we post anything new. All right, let's go back to the 1970s with Gary Byrd on Super Soul 16 WWRL New York.
Coward Shoe Store is located in Manhattan, Fulton Street, downtown Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy Restoration Center, and Grand Concourse, the Bronx. Also in Jersey City. At Coward, they'll give you and your family the right fit at the right price. And they'll never step on your toes. They guarantee it. Thank you, Don Allen. Don't forget to check out Don tomorrow morning. We hope at 5:30 in the city. He'll be out partying tonight, so I don't know. You'll have to, check the brother out and see what happens. New York City weather going to be clear, windy and kind of cold tonight. There'll be some gusty winds, according to the weatherman, a low 25 to 30. Tomorrow, the weatherman says, mostly sunny, windy and cold. Tomorrow, the weatherman says it'll be high around 45. That's what I think has been happening. That's why we can't get the right forecast. Anyway, Sunday's outlook is fair and moderating temperatures. Currently in New York, it's 41. From WWRL with Cheryl Lynn. It's 8:54 from WWRL New York, Progressive AM in the city, and I'm Gary Byrd. I am still really, really gassed out about that tremendous experience that happened between Vi Higginson and Gary Bledsoe yesterday between 12 and 3 p.m. It's our Thursday afternoon Vi Higginson Gary Bledsoe show, and they were together yesterday with just some incredibly positive and powerful vibrations happening between them. Something really nice to sort of end your morning and head towards the afternoon with each and every Thursday in the city. This is the music of Sea Wind. There's a poem that I did last night which was really inspired from listening to Vi and Jerry talking about dreams. I had some folks call me a bit last night who asked me would I be able to do that again tonight. I think we will too. Dreams coming up next hour or so inside of the GB Experience. Let's take a trip right now with Sea Wind, Morning Star. It's 9 o'clock in the city from WWRL New York, Progressive AM in the Apple. And I'm Gary Byrd from the GB Experience, inviting you to stand by. We're just 60 minutes away from a serenade for the city, dedicated to people who have marriage on their mind. It's all about positive positive vibrations, you can believe that there ain't no stopping us now. We are definitely on our way at 9:10 in the city from WWRL, New York's Progressive AM, with a total music mix and Chaka Khan. WWRL New York, that's Rufus and Chaka Khan, Hollywood, preceded by Some Love and McFadden and Whitehead's Ain't No Stopping Us Now. A total music mix at WWRL inside of the GB Experience. I'm Gary Byrd. I want you to stand by 10 p.m. tonight. We've got a serenade for the city dedicated tonight to people who have marriage floating around in their minds. Maybe it's in the back of yours. You don't have to necessarily admit it. If you are on your way towards matrimony, I think you'll definitely dig the trip. I have some friends who are going to be involved in a marriage ceremony tomorrow, and I'm going to create a very mellow serenade for the city between 10 and 11 o'clock for them and you.
When you say bye, when you say bye-bye, when you say bye-bye, when you say goodbye, you said a lot of things nobody else can say. When you say bye, you got as far as you can go to get the very best. You say goodbye, when you say bye, you said the word that means you'd like to do it all. When you say bye, you say you care enough to only want the king of beers. There is no other one, there's only something left, because the king of beers is leading all around. You say bye, bye, you say bye, bye, bye. You've done it all.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Tyrone Davis. He's the right man in the right mood.
I can't stop, I can't keep on dancing. Just keep on dancing, y'all.
It's easy to be in the mood with Tyrone Davis because his latest album has all of his get-on-up disco punch and the searing ballads that are TD's trademark. In the Mood with Tyrone Davis. That's the name of Tyrone's latest album, featuring the smash single In the Mood on Columbia Records and Tapes.
Available at all Disco Match stores for $4.49 LP. If it's only records and tapes, it's only Disco Match. New York weather looks like this. Clear, windy, and cold this evening with some gusty winds and a low of 25 to 30. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, windy, and cold with a high around 45. And Sunday's outlook fair with moderating temperatures. Currently in the city, 41 at WWRL. 9:25 in the city from WWRL, the music of Bobby Caldwell, What You Won't Do for Love. Tomorrow night on Black News over Channel 5, Metro Media Television, there'll be a commemoration of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It'll be happening at 10:30 p.m., and I was invited by Bob Martin of Black News to come up and to do a poetic tribute called Where Were You When the Shot Rang Out. That'll be happening tomorrow evening, Channel 5 Television. Check it out if you get an opportunity. This is the music of Mr. Donald Byrd. It's called Loving You. It's 9:29 in the city from WWRL New York, Progressive AM in the Apple. And I'm Gary Byrd from the GB Experience with Sea Wind. That's the music of Sea Wind at WWRL New York. Can you imagine? You know, I was listening to Vi Higginson and Jerry Bledsoe talking yesterday about dreams. And what they were saying, although it seemed hard, is a lot more easy than it would seem. Forget all the negatives. Think about positives. Be what you want to be. Solid advice for all of us to follow, and yet many of us will still not see. The world we live in is a stage, and it's true that we all play parts. Yet some of us play roles we don't believe in or really feel inside of our hearts. The secret lies inside of ourselves. It's inside that the journey begins. And yet we somehow continue to ignore this wonderful kingdom of heaven.